Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Todd Talks. Today, we have an extraordinarily special guest, none other than Casey Watkins, CEO and founder of Symmetry Financial Group, and quite frankly, one of the greatest humans that I've ever had the privilege to work with. Buddy, good to see you back from France.
Man, good to be back. Yeah. Thank you for the kind words, my man.
How was the ski trip?
It was awesome. Unbelievable. Never been to that part of France. It was Chamonix, which is, the home of mountaineering. If anybody has ever been there before, it's pretty extreme. You're in these mountains they go by meters, that are 4,000 plus meters high. So super tall mountains. You got guys base jumping off the top, paragliding with skis on off the top, rock climbing, ice climbing, obviously skiing and snowboarding. I was able to get into Switzerland, Italy, and France all within about 48 hours.
Wow.
But it was, it was one of those trips, just super inspirational.
Man, I'm so glad that you had a good time, and I really appreciate you making time to stop by and visit with us today. And as all of our viewers know, we like to start each week with a little bit of a game. And Casey doesn't know about this game, so we'll just roll right into it.
Uh-oh.
We're going to play a little Mad Libs. Casey.
Okay. I like this.
Go through
this is good.
Series of little questions right here, and I will have you give me your answer.
All right.
So, give me a number.
42.
Give me an age, any age.
42.
What's a cute name for a pet?
Curly.
Give me a household item.
Ironing board.
Give me a school profession.
Biology.
Name an activity.
Curling.
I bet we'd actually make a pretty good team in curling.
We would.
What's the name of a type of a club or an organization?
Racket club.
Tell me a year.
1981.
What's an item that's sold at retail?
An iPhone.
What's a type of a store?
Retail.
A group of people. Tell me a group of people.
An agency.
A popular event?
Super Bowl.
Give me another number.
7.
A life event?
Marriage.
Tell me a skill.
Snowboarding.
Name a type of industry.
Let's just go with insurance.
Give me a second type of industry.
Real estate.
Give me another life event.
Having a kid.
An outdoor extreme sport. I know you got this one.
Rock climbing.
Something really difficult to master.
Golf.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
You know that, don't you?
3,000 Foresters golf balls I've lost this summer already.
Yeah.
Something so easy a toddler can do it.
Finger painting.
Favorite vacation destination.
Switzerland.
So awesome we might go twice next year.
That's right.
Give me another number.
18.
Something you sell.
Insurance.
Last one. Give me a type of animal.
Porcupine.
All right, sir. Now I'm going to read you a little bit from my best-selling book that you helped co-author.
Okay.
On a train to my 42nd appointment, I looked back on the path that led me here. When I was 42 years old, I dreamed of selling something, anything, to anybody. I took Curly's new ironing board to school and convinced the biology professor that it would revolutionize the way she handled curling. She told her racquetball club, and soon I had clients, but the product ran out pretty fast. In 1981, I found a new business venture. I bought a bunch of iPhones at the retail store and packaged them in different bundles and sold them to each agency at the Super Bowl. I made a profit of $7 per bundle that I sold, and by the time I chose marriage, I knew snowboarding was my passion. I earned a trophy in insurance and real estate, and coincidentally, on my kid's birth, I received a call from an agent congratulating me and offering me a life insurance plan for the next stage of my life. I thought I could do rock climbing, I knew golfing, and I knew finger painting, two key ingredients for success in Switzerland. Wouldn't you know it? I sold 18 insurance policies on that trip. It turns out the train is a great place to meet new porcupine handlers.
We should never write a book together.
I don't know if it's going to be a bestseller, but I can guarantee you we can sell it for a sleep out.
Yeah. Yeah. First Todd Talk. Not what I was expecting, but I like it. I like how you kick it off.
You weren't ready for all that?
No, I wasn't.
No, we
good,
just like to start off with a little fun, a little bit of get to know the guest that we have on for the day. And the main thing we wanted to talk to you about today, Casey, is engage. It's been the word of the year for Symmetry. It's a reoccurring theme on our national calls on any given week. A lot of different book clubs are going on right now. Just talk to us for starters. How did you come up with the word engage? What does that mean to you and your fellow CEOs?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Thanks for having me on. We're always looking, when we pick a word of the year, we're always just trying to think about where the company is and where we're going and what the most important word is, what the most important topic is that we want everyone to kind of be focused on for the year. And, the last few years of our company have been very transformative. We've, Brandon and I have been behind the scenes a bit more with you and so many others on the corporate side of things, working on making sure that we're staying ahead of the curve, that we're preparing ourselves for the economic, shifts and the changes in how leads are generated and how we use technology and software and all of these, components that are very transformative. But, with that transformation and change, it's easy to kind of take your eye off the engagement ball, and that's something as a company that we've always done so well at. And our leaders have done so well at being committed and being engaged to where we're going, engaged in the process and engaged in their agency and engaged in their business. And so I think it was, our recognition that, we needed to hear that ourselves. It's time for us, now that we've kind of made some of these turns, it's time for us, Brandon and myself, and the leaders that may have also kind of been helping us and focused on this transformation to re-engage if they've gotten away from that and lean into it. There was a recent study that talked about companies that have high levels of engagement perform 21% better in profits and revenue and growth than companies that don't. And so we've seen that over the past 13 years with our company. When we are the most engaged with what's going on with the agents, with the clients we're dealing with, customers, clients will never love a company until they see its people, its agents, its leaders love the company first. And so engagement is about us understanding how special this is, how special in the industry this is, and leaning into that and getting engaged.
We talk about this a lot on our calls with our agents themselves and what engagement looks like for them. And, I know you have extensive experience in the field protecting clients yourself. If you're new to this business, what does a truly engaged agent look like?
An engaged agent to me is an agent that has very clear goals and targets, and they're all very much backed by a strong why. Those targets and goals oftentimes are linked to the promotion guidelines. What am I going to have to do to hit my next promotion? Maybe it's linked to a level of leadership. You're trying to get to that agency owner or that key leader, team leader, or beyond that. And you've done the work to understand what ingredients it takes to hit those goals and hit those targets, and you're actively working towards that. It means that you understand how many leads you need to be investing in, how many appointments you need on a weekly basis. It means that you're very up to date on the recent changes around any products or processes and how we actually approach our clients. What's the latest and greatest on Switchboard? What's the latest and greatest, on HQ? You're just in tune with what's going on, and it really stems from commitment. It stems from having those goals and targets that you're truly committed to, because if you are, then it forces you to just be engaged.
From my position, Casey, I get to hear so many gratitudes and success stories from our agents that have found what being engaged can look like, what it can look like for their career. I think a key part of, I know you talk about this a lot, the reason you founded Symmetry and the vision for it, when you really boil it down to one sentence, is there was not anything out there that was exactly what you were looking for in this space. And it was very important to you to create a platform that could give an agent both time and money. The things that you just talked about, if you focus on that as a producer, you can make a very, very nice living, a very nice income, and do things beyond your wildest dreams as being your own boss.
That's right.
But if you really want to figure out what life looks like when you have that time aspect, you need to start building an agency. And for you, Casey, I know that's something that you're prolific at. You've done it multiple times in the past. Could you give us a little bit of advice of what does it look like to be an engaged agency owner with us, where you're truly unlocking other people's potential and starting to experience some of that passive income?
You're right. It takes being understanding what it means to be an engaged producer to know what it's like to be an engaged agency owner, because you have to recognize engagement. You have to recognize the people on your team that are engaged, and you don't know the people that are engaged until you first have been in that spot and you have been heavily engaged. Obviously having to grow yourself, because this is an attraction. Sales is an attraction business because you're meeting with clients, and you have to, there's a law of attraction there. They kind of have to like you to trust you. And especially so when it comes to building an agency, because you're hiring people and they're going to be working with you, an hour or two or more a week sometimes. And so you're going to be spending a lot of time with the people that you're bringing into your business. So, you've got to work on yourself to be engaged. You have to, very similar to what we just talked about with personal producer, you have to be up on the latest and greatest, processes, what is shifting. So, someone that's engaged, that's an agency owner in our company, is highly plugged in. They don't miss calls. They don't miss important events. They know where the company's going. They understand the vision of the company. They understand how to communicate that vision to their people. They know their people, I would say. It's another good kind of piece of evidence around someone that's engaged, is they know the roster. They know who's on their team. They know their strengths, their weaknesses. They know the things they're struggling with. They're really plugged into their team. And so many of our agencies do such a good job at that with their weekly huddles. They're doing book clubs. They're organizing ways for the team to kind of run together. And so, yeah, those are kind of some of the things that I think of when it comes to being engaged. As an agency owner, I never wanted a producer, an up and coming person on my team, to know something that I didn't. It'd be like me being an owner of a McDonald's franchise, and someone that I just hired that's maybe flipping burgers at this point, just starting out, is coming to me saying, "Hey, did you hear about the new change?" And I'm going, "No, right. I haven't." That's not a very engaged franchisee. So I want to be in it.
This business is certainly a business of attraction, and I think one of the things that Symmetry gets to enjoy is yourself as a top leader, the top leaders that you continue to surround the company with. I've never been around an organization that is so focused on personal development and understanding our blind spots, understanding areas of opportunity where we can improve. Also making sure that we spend time to intentionally focus our efforts in places that fill us up, in places that we're highly successful and skilled at. I know in that walk you've done an excellent job of starting as an insurance agent to now running an organization with over 10,000 agents across the country, and we're approaching 400 agency owners. I mean, just thinking about that right there, when you and Brandon and Pope started this company, did you envision a time when you would be sitting on a call while I'm hanging out at your lake house and you're sitting in my Todd Talks studio and you've got 400 agency owners across the country that are enjoying the system that you built?
Man, I'd like to say, yeah, we knew it all along, but we hoped it, I'm sure. But if you had told me that in the first year or even first couple of years, I would have been excited, but I'd have been a little skeptical. We hoped, we thought that we had figured out the formula, which is, look, if this is what we want, if Brandon and I want time and money, then chances are that's what most other people want. So let's design a company that we would want to work for, that we would want to do business with. And so it really just started as an idea that hopefully we kind of had it pegged. We kind of threw the dart at the right line as far as the right balance of how you share the wealth of an opportunity, both from a time and money standpoint. And we've made small adjustments along the way with that balance point. But at its core, it was really that. It was really about, let's build the company we would want to work for and that we would be proud to, have that sign on our door or have that moniker on our shirt.
I think that's so evident and on display. I want to encourage everybody out there that's listening, if you're considering this business, if you're considering what your life might look like if you joined Symmetry, there's not much of a better way to get a peep into what our daily life is like than coming to a national conference. I know we've got a big one coming up this year, Casey, and what are you most excited about for conference every year? What is it that you see at such a large event that becomes so impactful, not only for the agencies that have been with us for 10, 12 years, but the brand new agent that hasn't even sold a policy yet? Mm-hmm. What is conference to you?
Well, again, you're talking to someone who's just been in the business for 20 years now, and I've been to my fair share of big events, big conferences, and what happens at a conference generally, if I were to kind of put it into one word or one thing, it would be that people go from involved to committed. And that's what I'm excited about when it comes to conferences, and is when you get so many new people, so many kind of people early on in their business who maybe haven't quite planted their flag, is they come out of that conference for one reason or the other planting the flag. And I've been there and multiple times, because you reach new levels of commitment and new levels of engagement. So that's what I'm excited about when it comes to conferences, is seeing a whole new wave of people get the impact that comes from committing to something, truly committing to something, and kind of burning the boats, or burning the bridges, whatever phrase you want to use there, to say, no, I see enough proof on stage and in the audience of people who are doing this and doing it very well, making an extremely good income for themselves, for me not to participate in that. And when you see that, it's like Danny Young says, it's hard to describe the importance of conference, because it's almost like trying to describe the Grand Canyon to someone who's never actually just been there. The only way to understand it is just to go and just to see it.
I'll never forget my first time coming to conference, and you and Brandon had invited me to it was actually in Raleigh, was the first one that I saw, and walking through that doors and just feeling that type of energy and seeing that type of community and the culture that this company has built and the tremendous leaders that we continue to surround ourselves with. Driving back home from that first conference, I remember just so excited, 6 hours ahead of me on the interstate. And I guarantee you I was on my phone for at least 5 hours and 40 minutes of it, just calling everybody that I could get on the phone to talk about just what it felt like to finally find a place where you just felt at home. You felt like it was surrounded with really incredible people that you aspire to be like. And not to mention the content and some of the world-class trainers that we have that will speak into growing yourself, growing your insurance business, how to be a better business owner. Just there's just so many good things that come out of conference, and I know we're going to have a great one this year in Denver. And Casey, I don't want to keep you too long, but not to make you blush over there, buddy, but you've taught me a lot as a business owner, and you've helped my career professionally in ways that I could never repay and thank you for. But it's the personal side that I get to see that I wish more people could see as well, that the way you've grown yourself intentionally, the way you've recognized the things in life that give you energy, the way that you've recognized areas of your life that don't fill your cup, and you've learned how to manage and either hire to have someone staff out to take some of those activities away from you, or the way you get your mindset right in order to tackle whatever it may come your way. Could you talk to us a little bit about how you manage your energy and things you learned over the last 20 years to get to this place of CEO of Symmetry, more from a personal standpoint?
Yeah. Well, thank you for the kind words too, man. The feeling is mutual. You know, you've done so much to help this company grow, and the impacts from the time you've started here are, you know, unquestionable. Like we see it, you know, and the agents see it, and the agency owners, you know, just love having you in the mix. It's so helpful for them. So you and team, you know. So, you know, I would say it's very similar to anyone from an energy standpoint, but it is, man, it's so important. I used to think it more of just on the time balancing kind of side of things, but it's a little bit overrated, the time component. It's more about energy, you know. And so for me, I think just maybe, you know, trying to make sure that I'm staying in my strength zone. You can tell when my eyes start to glaze over a bit in meetings when I'm not in my strength zone. So, and then do something about that. So if you recognize over the course of a week or two or three that you're in a zone where maybe it's a touch heavy on things that zap you, and not to say that, you know, look, making dials, contacting clients, that wasn't the most energy giving thing to me either, but you have to do some of those things. You know, the money hitting the bank account certainly helps that energy component, right? When you're in the field. Same thing with building activities. There's certain things that you just have to do that may still zap your energy. But for the most part, you know, I always try to think about that. You know, am I in that 70-30 balance world where, you know, 70% of my calendar is filled with things that actually fill me up, that energize me. Again, a lot of those things will be on the work side of things, but it's just strength zone, you know, stuff where I feel like, man, I'm adding value here. That's important to me, and that's important to my energy. So that'd be the first thing, strength zone. Second thing would just be recognizing that there are things outside of work that give me energy and give me really good energy. And with that energy comes clarity. With that energy comes creativity. And so those things for me are mountain biking. You know, like get in the woods, get out into nature, hiking, you know, going to France on a snowboarding trip. I do think that for me, getting outside of it for a week is very powerful. Every time I take a week off and I try to unplug as good as I can, and this France trip as an example, I come back with so much clarity around what the business needs, with more creativity, with ideas about how to help it get there. And that came from unplugging, which is the opposite thing you hear in the world right now around work and business. Is it's all about driving yourself, getting up at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m., burning it at both ends. And that just school of thought is starting to get a little outdated, because it's burning people out and it's not putting people in their strength zone and their energy zone. Some people are wired like that, but for the most part, I think people need the breaks. I need the break. I need that time away, so that for the clarity sake of things, sometimes you just have to get away from it to understand it and understand what the business needs. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, man. I think I've learned a lot watching you and self-care and protecting the 70-30 and the importance of just trying to stay healthy and trying to exercise. And talk to us a little bit about your morning routine.
That's right, man. That health and wellness bucket is massive for energy. I've been on both sides of that equation, where I was not paying attention to my exercise routine, my health routine, and how that affected my energy. And then I've been on the other side of that. I've seen the benefits of really having a routine. I try to get up at least 4 to 5 days a week in the morning and get a workout in, and that's immediately followed by hot and cold, sitting in 170, 180 degrees for 20 minutes, and then a 3-minute soak in the 45-degree cold plunge. And that gives me energy. It gives me energy for the day. Makes me feel better. Start to develop a routine like that, and try to do whatever you can to take the friction out of what it is that's blocking you from doing that. Simple illustration. And I heard this from Brandon a long time ago. You want to floss more? Put your floss in the shower. If you want to do ice baths, then don't have to go to the store and buy ice. Get a cold plunge. Take the friction out of it. I know that's, there's costs to that. It's easier said than done. Go somewhere that's got a cold plunge, but try to take friction. Try to take the steps. Eliminate any steps or friction you can into the things you need to do. So in the morning when I'm getting up, there are certain things that I've already kind of done that make it easier for me to say yes to that gym, even though I don't feel like it all the time, just because I've already kind of eliminated some of the movements necessary to get there.
Casey, one more thing that hindsight's always 20/20, right? So we've got a lot of people coming into this industry and getting started now. Looking back on your career, with everything that you know now, what would you go back and tell yourself as a brand new agent getting started? What are some of the things that you've learned that you feel like now, knowing what you know, you could be even that much more successful right out of the gates?
There are plenty of challenges and things in the business where, I went through probably 2 or 3 quitting phases along the way. And it would have been nice for my future self to tap me on the shoulder and be like, this is what's going to be like later if you just keep your head down. It would have made those quitting phases and those challenges a little easier to go through, and a little less emotional. And I think that's the value of kind of plugging in and being around people that's what got me out of my quitting phases, was being around the energy of people who are also in the trenches and also are dealing with their own challenges and adversities, and just seeing them kind of fight through it, and that inspiring me to do the same. So, opportunity is often disguised as adversity. And so along the way, I would have continued to remind myself of that. Anything that's worth it is going to be challenging. Anything especially that's this worth it is going to come with a quitting phase or two. And the key is not to stop and turn around and go hop to something else looking for less challenge. It's to push through it and to keep driving. And that's where character is created. That's where resolve is created. And those key moments in your business will only get easier because you will be able to go back in that filing system in your brain and say, last time you almost quit, you kept pushing and you had a breakthrough on the other end of that. So keep doing that. Every time you hit that challenge, just remember what that was like last time. And if you keep creating those files in your brain, then that strengthens your character and that strengthens your resolve for the next one.
That's so good. That is so good. That is what we like to constantly remind people. We never promise anybody this is going to be easy, but we can promise you, if you don't quit, it's worth it.
It's worth it
every time.
It's very much worth it.
Casey, you're amazing, buddy. I really appreciate you coming on to join us today. Continue to look forward to the bright future here at Quility and with Symmetry. And I know the things that we're working on behind the scenes that continue to be focused on making the job of the agent even that much easier, giving the opportunity for agents to have a highly profitable career while getting to maximize their time doing the things in this life that they love to do. And I see you show up every day working towards that goal, buddy. And we appreciate your leadership. We appreciate you stopping by today, and hope everybody enjoyed the episode. And until I see you again, take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Casey, don't say anything if my wife walks through your den naked in a second, okay? Forgot to give her a heads up. We're filming here. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining Todd Talks. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button to follow future episodes. And also, if you would, give us a thumbs up or drop a comment and let us know what you think. Talk to you again next episode.